All right, quick reminder to you guys in chat who haven't seen it yet, make sure to type !clips in chat so you can learn about the Twitch Clips contest we got going on. You can win some Amazon gift card money. You can win Twitch Turbo, actually, thanks to Twitch providing us with those codes. But of course, this is all just cool things that'll happen, hopefully, during the series and the games. I imagine we're going to start seeing a lot more epic things as we get closer to the round of 16 and the round of 8. But in the round of 32, you never know what crazy shit might go down. So, regardless, whether it's a funny moment, silly here on the stream, or whether it's something awesome that happened in game, make sure to clip it for your chance to get some sweet prizes. What do you...
Does Canada have the click it or ticket
I've heard
ad
that
campaign?
I've heard that phrase. I don't know if that campaign actually happens down here though.
Oh, I was gonna say, because it's like clip it or don't get a turbo ticket.
All right.
Hey. Okay.
Well, of course, this is the Ting Open Season 2, European Group Number 1. It's still the early part of this group stage, so playing for the winners or the losers match, seeing where they'll head up. In the bottom right side, it's going to be the Pink Terran, Beastyqt, who is currently looking for a team.
The bottom left, as the blue Zerg, he is Bly. It's a similar situation.
So I'm wondering, by the way, this is becoming sadly more an often occurrence where a lot of these players who were once on teams, also really good, want to keep going out to places like DreamHack and want to keep going to events like IEMs, but they no longer have that team support. They need that money to fly there. Like whether you're winning the prize money from the Ting Open just so you can compete in IEM at the end of the year or something like that, that's a whole nother can of worms. It sucks because there's a lot less team involvement now more than ever in StarCraft, and you've got two good players like both Beasty and Bly without team support. They have to pay their own way to get to these events. There's no more like WCS flying you out just because you made the round of 32 and stuff like that.
Well, that is definitely true. I wonder how much non-team players like this new format compared to the last one. Because if you were in the WCS, then you wouldn't be going anywhere at all if you didn't have a team. But now you can win the passport qualifiers, or whatever they're called. I forget. The latter
Yeah,
one.
but the passport qualifiers are a little bit fickle because it is a pretty high stakes. There's only like 1 or 2 spots from that. I mean, it's not exactly easy to lock that down, even if you are a really top tier player.
Oh, I mean, absolutely. It's better to have a team that'll send you out to participate in the open bracket, but that's why I said I wonder what they prefer. That instant, like, potential, round of 32 and onward for the WCS, or, like, multiple opportunities to get to different tournaments in North America and Europe.
Well, we did have a bit of an interesting opening out of Beastyqt while this goes on. He did go for the second racks very quickly. I think expecting a little bit of shenanigans from Bly, perhaps. He is the type of guy to get in your face very early. Looks like the SCV died in the middle of the map, so he knows full well Lings are coming.
Yeah. Beastyqt, I mean, going for this build could be getting some serious damage done because it is these horizontal spawns just right into Bly's base, and that could be a problem, especially if Bly doesn't scout it. But Bly's trying to put on a little pressure himself. Fortunately, 4 Marines is going to be enough, especially with the SCVs taking most of the hits. So 2 SCVs down, not much damage, but more importantly, not much scouting.
Yeah. Real quick, too, because someone brought up the command in chat. Before I forget, there is 27 hours left on the G2A giveaway. If you guys haven't gotten involved with that, again, !G2A, and it's the second link that'll get linked in chat, the one from BaseTradeTV bot, not Nightbot. For a chance to enter and win, €10. Costs you nothing. Just follow the channel. Easy peasy.
Yeah.
And if you're already following the channel, just verify that you are. Now, this is going to be a Nidus Worm getting out of Bly. I'm not surprised. Again, like hashtag rely on Bly to do weird things like Nidus Worms to get aggressive. And for Beasty, I anticipate a large part of that second barracks was making sure he had production and timing to deal with these early attacks, not knowing what type it would be. A Nidus Worm, though, is very interesting to me on this map, though, because you don't have the sneak attack aspect. There's no dead space. You're not really putting it in the back of the base and no one's going to notice. The idea is that you just want it in your opponent's face. You want to be across that map ASAP. And there's how many queens ready to go with this? There's 3 already, another 2 on the way. Oh, this Hellion gets the most important scout of all time? Question mark? Did he see it? He better have. Yeah, he saw it.
Yeah. Okay, so
High alert.
Marines and the SCVs already pre-pooled. I don't think the queens had that many transfuses.
God,
I think 1 each.
Can you imagine if there's 2 Banelings coming out of that? That would have scaled so much. That would have been like Katz's Banelings from like Copa America. Do you remember that when he pulled the probes to deal with that? All right, so Beasty cleans this up, I'd say relatively easily. He loses 9 workers, but this was pretty much almost blindly prepared for in a way.
Blindly.
That wasn't an intended pun for once, but yes, exactly.
Yeah. No, I think Beastyqt has just won this game, actually. Now, Bly, of course, is not some guy that's going to tap out. He's going to play till the very end. So he's going to try and get the third base up. He's going to try and, I mean, first deal with the drop, obviously, that he knows is coming, because he didn't kill any army.
He needs like one Marine in that bunker. He also needs to repair said bunker.
Lemon.
SCVs!
I just didn't.
Doesn't even need it. I was gonna say you can just shoot. That works too. All right, so the bunker's gonna hold. That's a really nice. I actually really like that wall off, by the way. Drone's getting put on top of the drop. This drop's going about as bad as the Nidus Worm, dude. There was like 6 Marines inside the medevac that just went down.
That was totally unnecessary. Oh my god. Well, I still put Beastyqt in a better position.
Yeah.
But you're right. That went just about as badly as that Roach Warren. The Roach Nidus, rather.
The Roach Warren. I don't think was a problem.
I guess I should have anticipated this. Bly is going for another Nidus Worm, not actually trying to bother droning up this third base, means that it's probably going to get killed. I mean, what's the point of saving it if you're not going to really use it? With only 4 Marines. Once again, not chopping all of his Marines out.
If Bly had like 2 even Ravagers with this, he'd have no problem getting through. Actually, on the top side, he can break that deep and just walk through, but he wants to get on top of the bunker, recognizing that there's nothing inside of it. However, Marines can't fight outside of the bunker either. A little bit of an awkward spot. Liberators are on the way. They're almost done, halfway finished. If they can get out, they can probably hold on against those roaches.
Yeah. The third base is actually going to get cleaned up by a couple of queens, as queens did not join the Nidus Worm fray this time. This is, there's probably not going to be a chance of it dying, which, the transfuses are usually the most important part. You brought up Ravagers earlier, and he needs them now for the missile turrets, or the Liberators.
I love the missile turret, though. Bly is someone who does burrow tactics quite often, and Beasty was anticipating this. That's not a missile turret that's positioned in any way to deal with Mutalisks. That is entirely just a detection turret. But while this goes on, I mean, the third base is still alive. Looks like one of the queens went down, so nicely done. But the third base is still alive. Bly's drone count's not too bad. He is lacking on upgrades, but I mean, being down 1 weapon upgrade is not huge. Not against Marines, at least. Excuse me.
I mean, I guess Bly, if he was denying a third base, that'd be one thing, but Beastyqt is not even really worried about a third base. He's actually just worried about doing a push to kill Bly first, I believe, and then maybe he'll expand after that. Yeah, okay. Just barely able to get to that Liberator from the very edge there. And of course, just denial on mining, plus drones killed. Oh, there's a third CC going down now. But Beastyqt has enough to push out. Oh, I didn't think he was going to do that. A massive drop in the main base, but the Liberators cover it, and there's almost no chance that it'll be killed off before it can fully unload.
So, kind of a small discussion going on in chat on the side of this game. People asking why we don't sponsor a player. We don't really make enough money to do that, guys. We've talked about it. We would love to. There's a time where we would have sacrificed all our own money to sponsor a player, but sadly, we're not exactly as rich as I think a lot of people seem to think we are.
Yeah. Sometimes wonder what you guys think we actually make per year.
If I had Total Biscuit levels of money, I would without a doubt do a team. Whether it was like even if it was a StarCraft, I would do a team or something. I've always wanted to do that. I think it would be so freaking cool.
Yeah, and even Total Biscuit had a lot of financial strain when he did Axiom, so
yeah,
it's like not quite rolling in the money you think.
This Liberator thing, by the way, has really started to snowball out of control. Without the Ravagers to deal with it, the Queens aren't cutting it. They killed so much, not just in the natural or the main mineral line, but also just pushing everything off that came up that ramp. So he's gonna load over here once again, I imagine. Yep, use the safety of the Liberator to just kind of guard him in. And this attack, I mean, Bly's already down a significant amount of workers. He's bled out most of his roaches. All of his larvae right now is going to more workers, which means he's going to have even less army supply. And look at that army count for both teams. Literally over double for BC.
Yeah. And now BC can do his frontal push, which I think should end the game. He's taken his third base as well, cleaned up that Nidus Worm that was bothering him, and I don't know how Bly's going to be able to defend against this. Again, this is something that, like, if a Nidus Worm gets denied that hard, you're either hoping for a massive screw-up by the Terran, or you just tap out. And we've certainly seen other Zergs in game number 1 just say, like, oh, that was an attempt, it failed, and we just tap out, not worry about it. But Bly has never been that type of guy. He's just, I'm in it to win it every single time. Yeah. So to see him still try is not surprising.
Speaking of teams and sponsorships, Jesse now in the chat, guys. Always got to give him a shout out when he comes around, because Jesse is, of course, the guy who set up this whole ordeal to have a Ting open and put money into StarCraft and even sponsor Neeb. So again, on that topic of teams and players, Ting, this huge company, he can afford to sponsor one player. We sadly cannot.
Yeah. Alright, down goes the third base. Scans going down everywhere. Probably, yeah, at this point, unnecessary. Like, just scanning because reasons.
I like this, though, because it is that question of, like, why are you still in the game? Do you have a hidden base somewhere? Like, you really don't want to let your opponent get away with something like that. But the last bit of Bly's army looks like it's going to fall. I'm just really... I gotta ask you, like, what are your thoughts on no Ravagers this game?
That was certainly weird. You know, Bly's not shy about making Ravagers, but... I don't know, honestly. After the first Nidus Storm, I just figured it was game over. Maybe you did too. Forgot Roach and Ravagers existed.
Well, it's only one game. We'll see what game number 2 has in store. What is the map, so I can load that up? Pretty please?
Frozen Temple.
All right, Frozen Temple. Got it. But yeah, I know, like, for example, guys, you've all heard me gush about how much I love Lily Canine on stream before, and when he went teamless, when Red Bloods disappeared, I would have loved to have put sponsor money into him, right? But again, like, the thought of this really goes down to, if we put money into a player, then we create less events, and I feel like the more events we put on benefits more players overall than just putting money into one guy. So I don't have at all this, like, misappropriated point of view on how we handle things, and I definitely don't think we're doing more for the scene than we really are or anything like that. But I just feel like putting $1,000 into StarCraft 2 events over the course of the month is going to benefit more people, more fans, and everybody on a larger scale than one player to fly across Europe or something like that, you know?
Yeah, that would definitely be like a personal, like, we wanted to have fun thing. Like, I don't think it would ever be like, yeah, we expect to make $1 million because we made this decision. Ready?
Yes! Frozen Temple coming up. The beautiful voice stylings of MC, as well as Elsa. See you guys in a sec.
Don't let them in, don't let them see. Be the good girl you always have to be. Conceal, don't feel, don't let them know.
Oh.
Well, now they know.
Gotta remake. Pause.
Let it go.
So my game just crashed for no reason that I understand. So we're gonna have to remake the game really quick.
Okay. They'll figure it out.
Awkward.
I'm sure.
Yo, like, again, still talking about this fun idea of, like, team stuff, because I love, like, you guys don't understand how badly I would love to do something like this, right? Like, it's funny to look at it from that point of view, but you've got, like, for example, Ole Mole, who does a lot of stuff with here on BaseTradeTV. She used to manage Axiom for a while. Like, myself, who casts tournaments all the time, I'm good at talking with and getting sponsors, but the problem is, again, like, we've got all these awesome tools to make an idea of, like, even not just a team, at least a player, a possibility. We just don't have the money for it. If we ever get to that point, that'd be a lot of fun, and that'd be really cool, but again, a lot of it's just sadly hypotheticals.
Yep. It'd be a team of full Terrans too, anyway, so.
The thing I would do, I think, too, with the players, different from what I think a lot of other sponsors would want. First off, shout out to Srilo for the 4-month resub. Woo! I don't know that I would care so much about our players, say, winning a DreamHack first place to get the camera time and the sponsorship exposure, right? Because for BaseTradeTV, we are our own exposure. I think I would rather just have a player who consistently played in everything we did. That would be the hometown hero, almost like the defender of the belt type thing. Like, that would be my personal ideal player. What would yours be? Would you actually want someone on the other end then, where, like, you would win big or go home, or?
I don't really care about them winning big. I care about being a fangirl of them. So.
Okay, so they got to be really handsome, is what I'm hearing.
No, are you kidding me? When have I ever, like, even with the jokes about Boxer, that is not the reason I like Boxer, that he's handsome or something like that. No, they have a passion for the game and that they're really cool people, and I'd like to hang out with them. And then I'd have an excuse if I was their manager.
So what you're saying is, when MMA gets out of the army, we got to pounce.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so try this again, Frozen Temple. Whatever players are ready. That was so weird. It didn't even give me an error. Like, it just closed. Like, there was no hang time, nothing. The game just closed as if it was never open in the first place.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Where's our job? It's English. Let's do it again.
All right. Oh, my sounds are off for some reason. There we go. All right, Frozen Temple. Cross your fingers that nothing breaks. All right, there we go. Finally in game. Nailed it. Map number 2 between these two players. Spawning in the bottom right side of the map on fire in blue. It's going to be Bly.
In the top left, as the Red Terran, he is Beastyqt.
All right, so Beasty, he took a very nice game, number one. But a lot of that for him was, I'd say, a little bit of luck and a little bit of preparation. Knowing that Bly was going to do something, perhaps not fully aware of what, he did go for that second barracks instead of rushing to his starport. And I really like that because, again, it's Bly you're playing against. You got to know your opponent, not just the race. And this is a guy who, if he's not going to hit you with a Nidus Swarm, he'll probably hit you with Ravagers. He'll hit you with something aggressive, especially in spawn locations like we just saw.
Mm-hmm. That game actually reminded me a lot about Lerlac Crest TVZ, horizontal spawn. It felt like, yeah, Beastyqt probably knows like it's better to have units early to either pressure Bly, you know, it's not a bad thing to do, right? Or to be prepared if Bly pressures me. But it's also like that was a really good build to plan for in horizontal spawns. You like get a good number of units to medevac drop into the Zerg's main base and maybe get like a Liberator or two, and suddenly you're in good news. And that's what happened on Lerlac. Both players would figure aggression would really work out because they'd have to have units somehow anyway, so why not try and attack? And you'd see like 2 tank push versus Roach Ravager attack all the time.
Yeah.
And it just so happens that it seems like whenever that occurs, the Terran actually ends up winning because tanks are pretty good. Although Beastyqt didn't need tanks last game, that Nidus Swarm came so damn early, it was just all about the Marines.
The Dragoth asks a very curious question in chat as we seem to be unable to move on from this topic. Could we start a Patreon or something for sponsoring a player? And again, I think that'd be really freaking cool, but at the same time, that's not something that the player should ever feel comfortable relying on, right? Like, 1 month you've got $1,000 income, next month you can't even afford a flight to whatever because people from the Patreon duck out. Crowdfunding has proven reliable. I mean, the Alima League has been fully funded over our expectations for over a year. So I don't have no faith in you guys, and I don't have a lack of faith in the crowdfunding aspect of it. The only thing I worry and concerned about is like how sustainable is that? Because at some point you're gonna need something more reliable than someone. Because like, how do we know that Europe doesn't go under a financial crisis? All of a sudden, no one can afford the Patreon anymore. Then the player's screwed, everyone's screwed, and it's still fun. Or I mean, this is a bad hypothetical, but my point is,
sure.
It's an idea we've gone over a lot of these ideas, guys. Maybe one day, if there's enough interest and enough pressure from the fans, one day we could try and do something like that. But right now, I really don't think the opportunity is there.
I think it's also just that we have a lot of plans. I mean, you talked about it with putting money into tournaments that you guys see right now, which is awesome. We're giving money to as many people as possible, but it's also like there are other things that we can do if we got like a surplus of money besides just sponsoring a single player. So
yeah, like what's more, like, I guess it's interesting because like what's better, again, like another live event or sponsoring a player for 6 months, getting a gaming house together a la TING style, or putting on a live event. Like there's a lot of this, that versus the other. Mm-hmm. And we all have ambitions. Of course, Zombie and I specifically have plans for things that some of you know we're moving towards or trying to move towards, but alas, one day, one of us will win the lottery, and we'll get there. Bly coming in for another attack. He's not going to quite be able to get past anything. Beasty got this wall down pretty darn quick.
Mm-hmm. Yep, he knew that was a problem, I think, when his Reaper died, and the Speedlings were running across the map. Because he doesn't have Hellions to instantly push those back, so he's just going to be pretty damn careful. Get that wall down as soon as possible. A tank follows us up. We might see the push out to the left side of Frozen Temple. That's usually initiated with a Widow Mine drop, though. So it's kind of weird seeing just tanks right now. But it could be the same idea. Pressure off to the left side, use the rocks, use the ramp to try and kill that third base.
I'm actually going to like the tanks quite a bit for maneuvering around these drops that are coming. Whether it's an attack at the front, whether it's moving it to the back of the base. Oh, if he saw this coming, he didn't see the Lings. Oh, he just barely didn't see the Lings, Zombie Grub.
Ooh. Oh, wow. His Marines look like they're going to the back, though. I guess they were searching for that one Overlord that almost died. This could have timed out really well, but now they're going back to the front.
Okay, but let's be honest. This is like less than 16, like 15 Lings or something. It's going to be going to the main. That's really not too bad if the SCVs get pulled. This tank drop harass, though, is going to require so much more attention than just unloading 17 Lings or 15 Lings or whatever numbers in that Overlord count. Not 16. There you go.
Yeah. I'm going to say, I always do that with Lings for whatever reason. Like, I know they come 2 at a time, but I always use odd numbers. Yeah, they just load right on top of the SCV line. A pull does come, finally, after 6 SCVs die here. Maybe 1 or 2 more, because Marines are, they're right here.
Should get cleaned up. The Liberator is going to make sure the Overlords can't stay around for too long. Of course, the Liberator does Not much damage anymore, as we can see, at least the armored units, but still manageable as far as damage so far. BC does have a third CC on the way after all, so even losing a few more SCVs isn't too bad. Combination mules, combination actual SCV production, he should be just dandy coming off the back end of this.
Yeah, he's gonna get 3 overlords, these 2 plus the one that he missed earlier. Yep. Now Bly, he's gotten up to a pretty nice drone count with 8 more on the way. He did go for upgrades before Lair, so he's going to be beating Beastyqt out on that pretty hard.
This tank drop really hasn't done enough of much of anything.
Yeah, I really wonder if Beastyqt's plan is to follow this up with those Marines and tanks, or this was actually just perfectly fine for him to keep that all back at home, because he's getting a 3rd CC as well. It's not like he was going all in with something. But, I don't know. Without stim, without combat shields, it's going to be a while before Bly has to worry about being pushed.
Yeah.
And I think that really is kind of crappy for Beastyqt, because Bly is now getting, much faster upgrades, and is actually going to be able to get to Baneling speed and Spire before we can even do anything about it, potentially.
By the way, people are asking in chat, we don't have a date set yet. Hopefully we will soon-ish, but... the sponsor versus sponsor show match is still planned to go on. Jansoon from Yord versus Ting's Jesse. Meant to play a small best of series at some point. We'll figure out when, and we'll schedule a time and let you guys know, of course. But it's ideally at the end of this month, and that's all we have information-wise. I know Jesse's pretty stoked for it. Jansoon, last time we spoke with him, still hadn't even played Legacy of the Void yet, but was still very confident he would win after watching Jesse's videos of him playing versus the fans. So I was like, okay, buddy, that's some confidence.
Yeah, right? You don't even know what disruptors are.
Yeah. Okay, well, jumping on that front line with some of these tanks would be really nice if he catches these Banelings. Oh! No, does he not see them? Okay, he's got to see this morphing, and he does. Just barely sees the tip top of them, but that's not going to be enough Banelings if he had actually killed them. That would have been so fantastic.
I can see maybe why Beastyqt's a little hesitant. He just figured that he had to pick up the tanks immediately anyways, like Lings would come in or something like that, but that was almost a golden opportunity. And I recall I said that Beastyqt doesn't have good upgrades. His +1 might finish, but not even his +1 armor. His combat shield's only just started. The only thing that's making this work is that crappy positioning with the rocks that's forcing Bly to kind of reconsider any pushing.
Running away with the Marines, picks most of them up. That's actually not too bad. The rocks with the tanks are going to be absolutely fantastic. He's got to unload to keep these units alive, but not a bad trade out of BC. If he had lost all his Marines, that would have been devastating. But this allows him to stay on the front lines because they cover the tanks.
Yeah. This is very nice position for Beastyqt. I mean, he had to do some pressure. I really think if he had waited for combat shields in 1-1, which is usually the timing you hit, Bly would have been just, he would have had so much more. He probably would have been out on the map himself and maybe even had, like, the Spire done. It's almost finishing up right now.
Awkward.
This counterattack really working out. There doesn't seem too many Marines back at home. That's a lot of supply depots to go.
They could have gone for the SCVs, though.
Well, yeah, but, there they go.
All right, Widowmine gets a decent hit. BC was just trying to bait them by the looks of it, or just AFK not paying attention. Either way, other side of the map, Marines get that middle line. Not going to go well, too, here. He's got to pull those medevacs back. One of them does go down. These depots have been obliterated. This sucks because it's not that he needed the supply so much as the wall off, and that's going to be really expensive to replace. As BC, as we can see, doesn't have a lot of money right now. Bly moving towards Mutas is also a really great choice, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think he's having a fine job here. Again, like any harassment of Beastyqt is great.
Oh my god,
but it's nothing to really be super
these tanks are on like 31 and 23 kills each.
Oh, they're impressive for sure. The third base is only just being recovered for Beastyqt. I mean, again, it wasn't about the supply depots, but just the fact that if the Lings are still there, then that means the SC... What the...
He's so busy microing on the other side of the map, he's kind of slacked on his own defense, and I think this is where Bly really starts pulling ahead.
Yeah. Beastyqt wasn't doing so bad. He was in an even army supply, even supply actually in general, but then it suddenly went downhill. That's still not enough for Bly to push and win. He actually doesn't have any banelings, so...
But his supply is overwhelming, and if it weren't for the splash damage, it would certainly be an easy A-move situation. But I'm loving the 4th, I'm loving the 5th. Bly's control of this game has been outstanding, and the defense was good. 24 banelings morphing in outside BC's base, Hive Tech on the way behind this, and everything points towards Bly right now.
It does, yeah. Beastyqt... I don't know what he can do right now. He can try and drop and at least kill one of the bases, but with another one, Bly would just transfer the drones and not really have that much of a problem. He's on his way to Hive, so BC's on a timer. He has to decide, like, right now to either push or to Turtle, which BaseTqt is pretty good at that Turtle Terran. It's just that I think that is the better option of the two. I mean, he wouldn't even be pushing with 2-2. That's still so far away.
So, this attack in the north looks very damn scary. More Banelings even coming out. Burrow, for whatever reason, going to be paired up with this, but BC can pre-split for days, and he can hope every one of mine gets the connection at once. The numbers game for him is looking a little bit better now. I still don't know if it's enough to really knock down Bly's army. Takes out that Liberator for free. Now he's on top of production. This is where it really starts hurting for Terran. Muta's getting a little bit bold going top of the Marines like this. Oh, doesn't get that
fine enough.
Rip. Overseer goes down. Lings and Banes, though, are plentiful coming in on this side. And these Banelings do have speed, of course, so rolling on top of these Marines shouldn't be too problematic. Most of the Mutalisks escape to the north, but oh god! How do those SCVs get out of there alive?
I have no idea. I really don't. I mean, I guess they were like maybe focused on one SCV, so they didn't all go down.
This is too much. GG.
Well. GG.
Bly will take game number 2, tying up the series now 1-1. This will also kick us off to a small break. Got to update the scores really quick before we go. Reminder that this is still the early part of the brackets, guys. You haven't missed out too much. We are going to BRB, though, and we'll see you in 2 minutes. I don't know why I just said BRB instead of saying be right back. It's like the same syllables. Internet lingo. Jazz. Kamikator 2 just subbed to the channel. Brand new sub. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys in a few. Alright, I don't even know if you guys are going to be able to hear me. I don't know what's just happened, but my computer has suddenly started underperforming pretty significantly, we'll say. So, I'm just going to have you on standby here, Zombie Grub, in case things crash.
Okie dokie.
As you can see, that video just loaded at like 2 FPS. That's normally something that takes like a second to go through, but we need to figure out what's going on here. So just one moment, guys. We got the players ready in this lobby. But even clicking join lobby is taking a while, so I'm really worried that this will lag the game. Oh, I see what's happened. Okay, so for some reason, the local recording I'm doing got cut. And it's trying to render that while it's still local recording the current content.
Ah.
And that usually takes a couple of minutes, which is going to be awkward. For those who don't know, this is supposed to be one fluid VOD, and if it cuts in between, it takes a very long time to compile. Which is a stupid thing, but a thing nonetheless.
It's a thing that happens.
Yeah, and I don't know why it does this, but it eats up a lot of extra memory too. So for example, I had 57 free gigs, now it's I only have 12. And the video is only 13 gigs in size. So we're just gonna have to wait a moment while this kind of blows over. I'll know when it blows over because things will stop stuttering. It's funny though because it looks absolutely smooth on stream. It's just load times on things are taking a moment. So apologies for the small delay. Again, hopefully we'll get through this in just a second's time. Real quick though, while we are still waiting, Zombie Grub.
Yeah.
Do you want to just shout out Ting for a moment while I try and sort this?
Sure. Looks like TV's having trouble as well. Yeah, so we're pushing it now into the group stages, but Ting isn't just, sponsoring it because they're super cool people, but they are super cool people. They're actually hoping to get you guys to check out their services. So if you don't know what it is, it's a US-only mobile phone service company that doesn't have plans. It actually just has rates, which works out really well for people that are constantly at Wi-Fi. So if you're at work or home all the time, like us, then you should definitely look into it. I know Europeans all the time are always talking about how good their plans are.
Lordy-dog, there's quite.
Yeah, and they're pretty good, but Ting, at least can rival that cost. Sometimes like the payment can be as low as like $25 per month, which is a lot lower than most everything else that anyone else is paying. You can actually check out, I believe they have like a savings calculator on the sites, bttv.ting.com, that you can check out if you're really curious. And if you have any idea of what you're already using, you can get a good estimate about what you can save if you switch over to Ting. And we are looking to get 40 people to sign up for Ting.
Yes, that's the
our
goal.
goal for season 3.
All right, I think it's nearly done. I'm hoping it is after all. Gosh. Sorry about this, guys. I don't. There's no hotkey I pressed. I don't know why it cut out in the middle of recording. Thank you for watching. Okay, it looks like we're good. So whenever the players are ready, we can get this started. Again, sorry for that weird hiccup, guys. I don't. That's all I can really say to that. But the next map is going to be King Sejong Station. I've got the intro loaded up. We're going to get into it, and we'll see you guys here in just a moment. Okay, maybe not as done as I thought it was. Oh, Lord. Oh, stream, I'm so sorry. I'm just going to mute this. It sounds so terrible right now. Okay, so the intro is not wanting to play at more than 1 FPS. So we'll just hop into the game and hope things are good. Alright.
You know, I'm going to say it's pretty impressive how fast I can still type without using my pointer finger. With only 1 or 2 spelling mistakes.
I would imagine, too, doing it like that probably looks a little bit like when anime characters are typing. Your fingers are just, like, overly flying around to compensate.
Yeah.
Like,
nah. But my middle finger's being used a lot.
So, I'm like 99% sure this might be me taking the long load time.
Are you 99% sure?
Not 100%
Or
sure.
100.
I'm not willing to commit money to this per se, but I got a sneaky feeling this might be me that's holding this up. If there's going to be an immense lagging game, I'm worried about affecting the players, then we'll just restart the match and tell players to take a few minutes. But looks like we're good to go, and things do look smooth. So, no complaints over here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Ting Open Season 2, European Group number 1. After some small hiccups, we are in game number 3. It's tied up 1 apiece, and in the upper left side, he picks green and looks magnificent while doing so. It's Beastyqt.
In the bottom right, as the blue Zerg, he is Bly.
What are you snickering at, man? The
I
green
don't judge people on colors.
green looks handsome for. I love green on Terran. Green, black, and white. I think would be the colors I go for.
Green, black.
Were that it possible to pick black, of course.
Well, you got pretty close on that one map.
That was
Hard
Coral
forgotten.
Carnage Knockout,
There
and
you
that
go.
required a significant amount of players in it to be able to pick that color. Oh, Bly, are you really gonna proxy him? Vista Hatchery?
Yeah, I guess so. It's funny, it's been so long since King Sejong has had any proxies, because it was very rare to see it proxied outside the natural. But back in Heart of the Swarm, like, you would see a lot of proxies in the natural versus Protoss and Terran.
Well,
But it really fell off.
what I find particularly intriguing about this is Bly has been doing proxy hatcheries for a while, and that's not conducive to players or maps. It's just a strategy he feels he can get aggressive with. He can get those 3 Ravagers out really close to his opponent's base and cause panic and pressure. If Beastie is going CC for... No. It's not
He is going
CC
for
first.
command
It's not CC first or anything, so it's not like the worst case scenario, but it is something where if he had a second barracks, if he's prioritizing getting that production up, this wouldn't be a problem to deal with. As we've all seen before, a tank and a medevac seems to be the best way to shut this down.
Yeah. Basically, an SCV scout is kind of the best way to shut this down, because
Yeah.
you can actually respond appropriately. Command center goes on the high ground, because you can still make it work if you go over a command center. Although, like, you know, obviously, like a 1 base build would be cool too. And then you do go for the tank as opposed to anything else you might be going for, because you're going for like a Widow Mine. That's still important time that you're wasting.
Oh, man.
Unfortunately, by waiting and not SCV scouting, the Reaper's gonna get here just a bit too late, and I don't think the command center is gonna get canceled. But it's just, you know, you really shouldn't try and save it.
It's
And
gonna
don't
be.
try to save it.
It's certainly gonna be awkward. I do like the factory coming down. The timing of this isn't gonna be too bad. Unfortunately, it's a reactor, so there's gonna be a lot of Marines, which don't necessarily fare well versus Ravagers. It's important that he was driving that Overlord off, though, for a moment, because it's high ground vision that makes these things so deadly. You can't necessarily just walk up the ramp and throw across the piles down. You'll die to the Marines waiting for you. It's the range that is your biggest advantage, and the high ground vision allows you to exploit that. Thank you to Thought-Maturgy 666. Thought-Maturge. That's a brand new resub, or brand new sub, not resub. That's a
Yeah.
brand new sub. So thank you very much.
We've had brand new subs. 3 brand new subs.
Today is a good day.
Yes, it is. Isn't that like a class in Final Fantasy, the Thaumaturge or whatever? Like I could never say it in Final Fantasy.
You would know. That looks so weird, by the way. It's like the roaches became cocoons because they got grenaded. Like they all separated and just like morphed instantly. But Ravagers are done. And once again, like the idea. Oh, I like that idea of the grenade trying to launch these into range of the bunker. But the Queen's the one that gets focused down, not the Ravagers. She already did her job, though. She got the creep tumor out. It's spreading that creep towards the natural, lifting up, and now there's going to be, of course, that problem with needing detection to put that back down later.
Build a wall.
Oh, of course, the ball's going to hit the SCVs. Oh, and the reactor.
Oh, the reactor,
Ooh.
yeah. I was going to say put the command center next to the barracks, build a strong wall. But honestly, even if Bly runs past, like as long as the bunker is dealing some damage, it's still going to be like really risky for him to do it.
It's going to tag the Ravagers, and a lot of them are already pretty low in health. They've got less health than their Roach counterparts as well. They've got more damage as the trade-off, but Beasty's had to pull so many of his workers to defend this. There's not that many mining. I mean, the mule is cool, but the command center there is lifted. Oh, the bunker goes down. I don't think he's going to have time for this medevac to get out. If Bly identified this, he'd push in, I think, right now. Ravagers goes to battles on top of that tank. Means it can't move. Oh, it's going to die. Oh, it's going to die.
Oh, there we go, yeah. Yep, just a little bit too close despite putting that wall down, which was very clever.
GG.
GG.
All right, game number 3 is going to go to Bly with a 2-1 lead now. But we are going to intentionally sell this out, guys, with a break because I want to make sure everything's good and not super laggy. So I really do hate to hit you up with another break so soon. I'll tell you what, we'll make up for it by not playing a break like later, but for now we got to make sure that there's not going to be whatever CPU problems. So worst case scenario, if the stream disappears in a second, don't panic. It just means I'm restarting and we'll be back up in like 3 seconds, but ideally I shouldn't need to restart at all. So stick with us and we'll see you guys soon. And again, apologies for any with breaks again so early. All right, game number... Whoops, I forgot to swap scenes. My bad, guys. There we go. Game number 4. Spawning here in the upper left side of Arena, we got the pink Terran. It's going to be Beastyqt, changing out of his green slacks and into his pink ones.
In the bottom left, as the blue Zerg, he is Bly.
I think if you had green pants, they would have to be made of corduroy, because you could not have green jeans. You couldn't have green silk.
Oh no, you totally can have green jeans. It's very fashionable, I would say. If it matches the rest of your outfit.
Get a zoot suit. There you go, made entirely out of green.
I actually am really jealous of people who can wear different colored jeans, because you know the blue jean is such a safe choice for anything, right? It goes with everything and anything. Even like you can even wear like jeans like a blazer and be a little like, you know, high class or whatever. But like colored jeans, you gotta be fashionable to really make those work. You gotta like match it, you know?
So that depends on what your opinion of colored jeans are, for example. I mean, red jeans or something, I would agree. But, well, it may not be considered colored. White jeans, I feel a lot of people can pull off.
Oh, that is so dangerous, though.
It is so dangerous, especially if you're a woman and it's around that time of the month. It's so dangerous.
So, like, besides, like, in general, getting white, you know, anything dirty, like white clothes, like, why would you wear a white t-shirt? You're going to an Italian restaurant, right? Yeah, actually, there's been so many cases in high school where, like, girls would just be like, I'm not showing, right? Like, and you'd have to check out their butt and be like, nope, you're fine.
You're good, don't worry.
It happens so often. I would never wear white jeans, even if it was like, you know, and that's not the problem. I just wouldn't. I think that the chance that it would show like your underwear, because you know, like white doesn't exactly help. Like it's not see-through necessarily. It doesn't help, right? I just no chance.
Well, what's my favorite color for a wet t-shirt contest? I'm just saying.
Isn't any wet t-shirt gonna like show?
White.
Isn't it more like my favorite type of t-shirt is like the tissue t-shirt?
There you go. Nailed it. I like t-shirts that dissolve in water. Those are my favorite wet t-shirt contests.
Those are the best.
One's just like painted on, but with like really terrible body paints from like the dollar store, so it just like washes off. You're like, oh, well then, that's awkward. All right, Beasty, by the way, not looking to do anything too crazy. I like the second gas coming down at an appropriate timing and not rushing out a tank and a medevac. There's so many, I think, standard Terran pushes that can really take advantage of this little ledge that do the attack that we all expect and love them to do. But to rush something out for Bly, I think would just be too dangerous. You have to have army ready to fight him early on. Even if it's not guaranteed that he's going to hit you with roaches like he appears to be trying to do, you still know there's the potential of him doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the bunker is the first step, but It's certainly not the last step. I mean, this is something that is very just, you know, it's an old-fashioned thing to do on Arena, but it can still kill you if you take it too lightly. This is gonna just be Bly rolling in, no Ravagers. Just, oh, how you doing? Okay, bye. See ya. Now there's Ravagers.
A little bit awkward as the Marines pop out. I mean, he knows the Ravager's coming in, so he wanted to pick that one off. I'll put this other Roach back and make that the next Ravager. Yeah, basically a free heal.
Clever. Well, now it's just awkward. I mean, you can't get in, you can't get out.
Right, he's stuck between a rock and a hard place, but his intention isn't necessarily to get out. It's to do as much damage as possible before being forced to die, I guess you could say. Ravagers obviously take on the Marines on issue outside the bunker. I don't know why I left the bunker. Mistakes were made.
Yeah, you can go in very fast.
He tried to pull some SCVs to repair the reactor. I mean, even knocking down this would be really nice, but with the tank coming out next and a medevac timed out with it, this should be holdable entirely. Like, Beastyqt last game was in trouble because it was a proxy. This game, what the fuck? It shouldn't be the case. Sorry, a folder popped up out of nowhere.
Oh. Yeah, but I think it's already done a disappointing amount of damage for Beastyqt. He would really rather have just like built a bunker and then Bly would have been like, oh, can't do anything, let's leave. So it's not devastating. I mean, a reactor, 5 SCVs, a couple Marines, yeah.
Well, that and the resources lost still favors Bly a little bit with the way that went. So overall, not too bad. But now we get that problem with drop tanks coming in. Beastyqt tried to do this before, but there's so much going on. Like, there wasn't much attention paid to it. This is the only thing going on, so all of his attention will be on this one tank getting some damage. Good thing Bly went for some extra queens because he'll need the damage from these to shoot the medevac. Transfuses to heal the queens.
Yeah. Now it's really up to Bly to worry about the potential counterattack. I've never noticed you can just go through that pillar, by the way. I always assume they're going around it.
Yeah, because there's dumb ones like here you get caught on for some silly reason.
Anyway, yeah, so a tank push in, you know, the future of Beastyqt is definitely possible, and Bly's got to worry about it. So he instantly tries to get to lair after that Roach attack, and it's probably going to be for Spire, you know, maybe like 8 mutas, but then transferring back into Roaches. Just a very simple way to go in Arena. I'm
not sure where this thought just came from, but we've always talked about, well, from time to time, about Terran needing or wishing they had a melee unit, right? We talk about like the cat robot creatures on the campaign and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
How sick would it be to have like a bunch of Reinhardts, man? Like, maybe not with the charge, maybe not with the shield, but just like big hammer swinging like Terran robot marauder looking things.
Dude, that would have been awesome. If it could have had the shield. It could have been that thing that somebody suggested, I swear.
Oh my god, you're right! I didn't even think about it.
Oh my goodness. Oh my god, yeah.
By the way, this tank gets significantly more damage done than I think even Bly was expecting. I wasn't expecting to get away with so much. So much attention was drawn to this medevac over here that he got free shots on this hatchery to the point where it's almost dead. But it's not dead quite yet. So Beastyqt's maybe going to keep around with the tank. He was, of course, retreating back because that medevac got so dangerously low. But Bly's going up for a Spire next. And mutas can certainly get out of hand, especially on a map like Arena. But tank for now just trying to trade out best it can.
I think that the mutas shouldn't spiral out of control. I mean, they can, especially if they hit hard and fast and Beastyqt doesn't recognize it, but it should be recognizable. I mean, this is not just what Zerg's doing, but especially Bly does all the time whenever Arena gets to be in his map pool. But the mutas will be able to take care of the tank, they'll be able to take care of the Liberator, and then the swap over into Roaches might be able to take care of Beastyqt's attempt at a third base, which is only halfway done. I mean, he certainly has an army to defend it, in fact, a bigger army than Bly, but that is because he's saving up to get to those mutas.
Well, clearing up a good chunk of the Overlords in the middle of the map, Liberator and Viking doing work. Rocks being torn down in the middle is going to open up additional pathways to attack, because the last thing you want to do is have like 3 Widow Mines and a bunch of tanks waiting for you on the end of the bridge. So, like this move out of Bly to take advantage of just not being able to do anything else for the time being. Yeah. Poises himself ready to take a fight, but unfortunately, he's not going to want to take one here in the middle. Again, it's going to be around these ramps and in the open space. That's probably his best bets.
This is such a tricky position for Zergs. It's often, I don't even know what they're really supposed to do. If they go for only Roaches, then the choke is so abusable, and they just gotta hope the Queens eventually get to target down those medevacs. If they go for mutas, then they could snipe the tanks, but they could also just get torn to pieces by the Marines and this Liberator, so...
Yeah. I think absolutely necessary, like, Ravagers here in at least counts of 3 to provide pressure to have the tanks constantly moving and not sitting there firing. But the mutas doing what they can to cut off the reinforcements and distracting, buying, honestly, some time here for Bly to get those next round of links, get those Roaches out, but I don't think it'll be enough. Beastyqt's even repairing his units on the front line.
Ah, that is going to be so good. This is really very difficult for Bly. He's still not out of the game yet, but it is so close to snowballing if he makes one bad decision when it comes to a fight. Actually, that was like, a cool idea with the Widow Mines.
It was almost baited perfectly.
Yeah.
The Liberator could actually get a couple shots and finish it, but instead they're all retreating and Beastie on the run. Gonna lose one of his Liberators, one of the medevacs maybe as the boost runs out.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, no. Oh, no, why did you do that? How did he not lose it, though, is the bigger question.
That is a really good question. I guess these that died were the ones on the front line repairing, so not the end of the world. Meanwhile, for Bly, I guess, finally having a bit of breathing room. The third base did get knocked down. After all, it was so low from that earlier tank account. Trying to get this base saturated to make up for it.
Yeah, that's a pretty big issue. With Beastyqt taking his third, Bly would love to be on actual 4 bases, you know, mining at least partially, because 51 drones is actually, like, it's not super great. These Widow Mines might just kill a queen. I guess he forgot they were there. It's not getting Overseer, so it's not going to be cleaned up on anyway.
Well, everyone's attention's over here for the time being. Looks like this Widow Mines did get some okay hits.
Oh, and roaches. Yeah. Well, the upgrades, I actually didn't even notice that Bly has not even started, but it makes sense. He tried to go so quickly into mutas after the early roach push, there really wasn't a lot of gas to spare for anything else, and then he had to defend against the push. Now he has gas and money. He should probably, I mean, I'm surprised there's not 2 evolution chambers. There we go, 2 evolution chambers now. But Bly is going to be significantly down in upgrades, because Beastyqt's already got his armory on the way. He's probably going to start 2-2 soon. Or 2.
That command center gets lifted, but also dangerously low with the Ravager across the Biles hitting it.
Yeah,
SVs are going to repair to keep it alive, but this puts them in range for the attack. Liberators also can't siege up as much as he really wants to because he knows the Ravagers will kill them. Boom, that's what Bly was waiting for. So, of course, the Biles do land and do take out both the Liberators. Marine count, though, looks like it should be able to clean this up. The concave on both sides isn't too bad, and Bly's going to bleed out what is almost too much army for this attack.
Almost too much, yeah. His Remax, or not Remax, right? But his other army he is using his bank finally, because he's been banking quite a few minerals. It's not bad, but again, those upgrades are a big issue. If Beastyqt gets more and more Marines here, I'm surprised there's going to be more tanks actually for Widow Mines, but just the Marines in mass here could maybe start really tearing apart Bly's unupgraded roaches, and now he doesn't even have any Ravagers. It's gonna be close, especially if the Widow Mines get any really good splash damage. A Viking lands to help out. No Ravagers, so the Liberators can freely siege up. It's actually a terrible position now.
Has nothing to do with the Widow Mines either. Overseer's not present. This base is going to go down. Jones trying to get pulled, but 11 die, and Bly's just going to go for the counterattack. Hope to draw Beastie back home, but I don't think that's going to be enough. Beastie should really be able to just keep pushing, keep pressuring. I mean, over here, it's only a small amount of queens and a roach defending. He's going to identify this and be able to just advance his lines. Once again, Marines move forward. Bly in the natural base, however, is going to find Beastie without any defense.
Yeah, probably should just looked at that.
Liberator is on the way. The Liberator is going to take forever to clean all that up.
This is actually getting very messy for Beastyqt. Suddenly his army is just apart from each other, and it really wasn't like a mass amount of Marines quite yet. And he's now in production. Bly, I mean, with his massive bank, it looked really bad to start off with. You know, only like 20 roaches getting instantly demolished. Okay, that looks really bad. But then 20 more roaches, and suddenly there's, 15, 20 roaches on each side of the map. And Beastyqt is actually the one getting cleaned up. Bly must have lost a lot of drones. He lost a 4th base, but he has an army now. Yeah,
82 to the 47. And I didn't expect the production getting compromised to be such an issue, but as we see clearly through the numbers, it is. The Liberator sits up to stop the roaches from retreating, but the roaches aren't really looking to retreat. They're just kamikazing in a way, just to do as much damage as they can before they die. As Bly pushes through the middle of the map with the rest of his roaches, you got to consider, like, Beastie really doesn't have a lot of defense. This blows me away because I thought for sure Bly was dead in the water with this attack. I love the Beastie, by the way, had to take a hidden base, or island base, but, the Muta's going to top this, so that's whatever.
Yeah. I think this could be game. Liberators, should they get any, like, extra shots off, could be very dangerous, but the Ravagers are still alive.
Misses that shot.
Missed that one.
Yeah.
That's funny. But I think that Bly's done it.
Yeah,
GG. Takes a 3-1.
And he'll advance on to the winner's match. So I thought, like, my money was certain Beastie and Hearthstone were going to be the ones fighting each other. And maybe they will in the finals of the group or something. But that was I'm going to say shocking win for Bly. I really didn't think that was, like, after Beastie's attack, it looked so vicious, it looked so savage. It didn't look like he was going to win.
No, it did not. That's gonna lead us into Beastie versus TLO.
Yep.
As the losers does come first in our casts, and I don't know if TLO's gonna be very happy about that. He did lose to Beastie to lose in the qualifier. So
Yeah, I gotta say, I think he's got a better chance here than fighting Blind ZvZ, because Blind ZvZ has been consistently good.
it's true.
So I really do think he's got a better chance here against Beastie, but regardless, congratulations to Bly, who move on to the finals of the winners match, of the group. Getting too ahead of myself. So we've got 3 best of 5s still remaining, folks. So once again, we're talking about Ting and our sponsors of the events. Last time we talked about their rates. This time we'll talk about their coverage. For those who don't know, I think they partnered with Sprint, and I can't remember the other one. They say it on the commercial we're about to play, but they've got nationwide coverage. And again, I can finally vouch for saying I used Ting for the entire 2 weeks we were in Texas, and I had like maybe one small hiccup inside like this one like restaurant. What's it called? Where they made the food in front of us, man, and the guy was doing the crazy shit where he pretended to spray you with mustard.
Oh,
but it was
hibachi?
like spray. Yeah, that was like that one place is the only issue I had with Ting. Outside of that, great coverage everywhere in Austin. So again, it's a U.S. mobile only phone service. So sad to say, if you're in Canada, no good for you unless you plan to visit them. They do sell SIM cards. So actually, I'll play the SIM card commercial first, just because the music on it's really epic and cool. But then we'll play the actual real ad after. So stick around. We'll be back with best of 5 Beastie versus TLO when we